Hello everybody, Captain Marty Brill here. It is Friday, January the 2nd, 2026. We're in a brand new year. Got lots of stuff to talk about. Some of it better than expected, some of it not as good as expected. And one thing that's kind of bummed me out a little bit, I'll tell you about that at the end of the program today. So stay tuned, I'll be right back.
Red Drum Tackle in Buxton is the oldest complete tackle shop at Cape Hatteras. And being the closest tackle shop to Cape Point, Red Drum Tackle has been welcoming fishermen to Hatteras Island with a wide selection of bait and tackle, skilled custom rod builds, rod and reel repair, expert knowledge and information since 1974. Red Drum Tackle knows how, when, and where to fish. To acquire this fishing brain power, visit them online at reddrumtackle.com. Red Drum Tackle, the oldest complete tackle shop at Cape Hatteras and the closest to Cape Point in Buxton.
Hey y'all, Captain Marty here, and when I was looking for a top quality mower, I went to the best, and the best is A&W Sales in Pinetown. Now at A&W Sales, they carry top quality brands like the Bad Boy zero-turn mowers, of which I own one now for 15 years. American-made, heavy-duty machines built to handle anything from backyard touch-ups to commercial jobs. They've proudly sold and serviced Bad Boy mowers for over 15 years. How about if you're in need of a trailer? A&W Sales carries the full line of Big Tex trailers, the best-selling trailer brand in the entire nation. Visit them in-store or online at awsalesnc.com, where tough equipment meets trusted service.
So, of course, the big thing on the offshore fishing front is the opening of the quota on the bluefin tuna season. We talk about it a lot this time of year. Back in the days when I was charter fishing, this was the time of year you put your boat in dry dock, hauled it out where you wouldn't have to worry about it, went on vacation, went snow skiing, went hunting somewhere. But nowadays, there are boats that fish year-round. Charter boats have made a whole following of the bluefin tuna season offshore. But it let them down yesterday. There was a few caught, but not very many, and not very big, and it was really rough. And as I said in my deer stand, watching that wind go from northwest around to south and even southeast, I'm thinking, boy, I'm glad I'm sitting in a ground blind out on the edge of a field, waiting for deer and not out there being snatched all around looking for a bluefin tuna in the cold of January. But the people that do it love it. And even though the bluefin tuna fishing wasn't very good, the king mackerel are everywhere. One of the bluefin boats fishing out of Oregon Inlet could not keep a bait in the water because the king mackerel kept clipping them off everywhere you went. And we already have talked about in Hatteras, a really good bite on the king mackerel been going on for a while now. So that is encouraging if you're a king mackerel fisherman, especially a commercial fisherman, because that was one of my more enjoyable fisheries, the time we spent commercial fishing with no charter. You just went out there and caught what you could catch and brought them back to the dock and sold them, and then they were sold on retail fish markets. But I would really like to have a piece of fresh king mackerel right now, but so far I haven't had a person that's catching a few that'd be willing to share yet, but I haven't asked much either. So the king mackerel bite, plenty of king mackerel around. That's good. That's encouraging. And the bluefin tuna will do nothing but get more plentiful and more cooperative as we go into January, February, and well into March, even into April a little bit. So that's about it on the offshore fishing. We did hear some sightings of bluefin tuna much closer to the beach. The report I was just telling you about was out in the Gulf Stream, and evidently a couple boats that had no interest in catching bluefin tuna saw them busting in the ribbonfish. The ribbonfish are those long eel-looking things that our inshore boats fish for all during the summer. Evidently, they're still out there, and the bluefin tunas are feeding on them. Now, the bluefins are the tuna that come right up to the beach. We've even caught them off the piers, and I think there's been a few caught in the surf, but they are free-ranging. They go everywhere, and they evidently are filling up on houndfish right now. So let's jump over. The tuna is not the only game in town. Surf fishing, still got some people at it, still catching sea mullet, still catching puppy drum, not in big numbers, but down on Hatteras Island, there's still a little bit of a bite going on. Ramp 55 has been good. Down there at Cape Point has been a little bit of a bite. Some puppy drum, some black drum. I forgot to mention those. A few black drum mixed in the catches, and it's just sea mullet have been the godsend of the surf fishing world for a long time now. We've been had a really good time time on that. So sea mullet, puppy drum, black drum. Your best bet is going to be to get down on Hatteras Island, go to one of our local tackle shops like Red Drum Tackle right there in Buxton, and get them to set you up with the rig you'll need. You don't need to cast a mile, and they'll have the best bait combination. It might be synthetic, or it might be they may have some fresh mullet or shrimp, but whatever they have, they're going to steer you in the right direction, which is what you get when you shop at a local tackle shop. You get that local knowledge, which is worth its weight in gold. So keep that in mind. We'll take a little break right here, and I'll be back to talk to you about what's happening in the backcountry.
Let's be real. No one wants to deal with nasty varmints like mice, roaches, creepy crawlies, and critters. Leave that work to the experts at Outer Banks Pest Control. Outer Banks Pest Control is the best on the beach when it comes to eradicating those unwanted creatures. They've been in business for over 25 years with well over 100 years of combined exterminating experience. Specializing in both commercial and residential properties, Outer Banks Pest Control has all the tools and equipment necessary to take on any pesky job. They pride themselves on top quality customer service and workmanship. Hey, if it ain't red and yellow, it's just some coattail riding fella. Outer Banks Pest Control, the best on the beach with a proven track record of excellence since the year 2000 and online at outerbanks-pestcontrol.com.
So we don't have a lot of effort going on other than the duck hunters, of course, which are everywhere, very numerous in the Sound, very numerous in the farmland and the flooded duck impoundments. But there are still folks trout fishing. In fact, one guy I knew, I talked to yesterday, that was going duck hunting, changed his mind and went trout fishing instead and caught a 30-inch speckled trout. He would not be happy if I told you where he caught it, so I'll tell you this. It was in the Pamlico Sound. But if you have a little local knowledge, if you have a honey hole that you really like to fish, if you know how to approach these fish, what bait and lures to get a fish in cold water to bite, I'm going to tell you there's some fatties around right now. And I've seen people like Gray Davis and others having good catches. They share their catches on Facebook, and they're really good at what they do. That's why a guide is sometimes a good investment, a good way to shorten the learning curve. But there's still speckled trout around. That's all I heard about. I did not hear of anything else. It seems like all the focus is on the speckled trout. So as we roll into the new year, we got a big season of bluefin tuna coming up. We hope that we do not have to deal with a cold stun event this coming winter like we did last year with the speckled trout, but we got through that in pretty good fashion, really. So there's lots of opportunities. There's also lots of opportunities if you're a traveler and you want to take a vacation. Half of our fleet is scattered all over the globe. A lot of them are operating charters in those far-flung areas like Cabo and Costa Rica, Los Sueños, all through Cancun, Cozumel, Mexico, the Bahamas. I know the Blunt family, friends of mine, Bill Blunt, his son Hunter Blunt running the Barber Bee. They're down in the Bahamas, and there are lots of opportunities to fish with our local boys all around the world. So you might want to look into that. Ask your local marinas. They'll steer you in the right direction. In the meantime, I hope you have a great, happy, and prosperous new year. I'll end by saying this. I mentioned to you a couple things. One, that I was a little bummed about one thing. What I'm bummed about is deer season. Yesterday was the last day of deer season. It was a hard deer season year for me. It's also bear season is now closed, and the duck season is still in for a while, but it's a little bit on the slow side for me. As far as New Year's and the tradition of eating black-eyed peas and collard greens because it will make you prosperous in the new year, let me just say, I've been eating them for 40 years and I'm still broke. But anyway, it is what it is. I hope you have a blessed day.